Hi guys, welcome to SoccerBeat, and it's talking Kaizer Chiefs, and I've got the legends of Kaizer Chiefs here. Between the two of them, goodness me, I think they probably made nearly 600, 700, 800 games for Kaizer Chiefs. The brilliant Brian Baloyi, ex-goalkeeper, and Tsepo Masilela, ex-left-back Kaizer Chiefs. Welcome, guys. Right, a no-score draw away from home against bottom of the log Chippa. Is that considered a point gained or 2 points lost? But before we go into it, guys, I've got an email here from management, which I'm part of as well. And I can tell you right now, we're on 83,000 subscribers. Once SoccerBeat hits 100,000 subscribers, we'll be giving away 50,000 Rand to one lucky winner. 50,000 Rand to one lucky winner. But you must be a subscriber to enter the competition. So join the family and stay tuned, because there'll be a lot of updates coming on this. So 50,000 Rand waiting. Brian and Tsepo, you subscribe, but you can't win. Nor can I. Right, let's go to the game. First of all, if you look at this result, there were opportunities to win it. Vilakazi, a wonderful young player, didn't have the best of games, but had a gifted opportunity in the second half. Gets the ball a few meters out and he tries to place it. The keeper makes a very good save. But Brian, I know you're the keeper, and you're gonna praise the keeper, but surely you can't blame the coaches on this. This was an opportunity to go 1-0 up, and then you could have won the game, 3 points in the bag. If you hit it harder, top of the net or side. Was it the keeper, or is that a miss? And these are the things that coaches can't coach you to do. If you can't score from there, do me a favor.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where it's a bit of both, but give credit to the keeper. That fingertip, save right, late. But again, I think if it had, even where he placed it, if it had power, the keeper was not going to get there. He was going to be late because he was too close to him. And it's such, I mean, it just reminds me of, the late screamer, in the box, you'd say, just pour some water on yourself, what he's telling a man, so you can relax and just pick the spot. I think he was a bit, nervous, I think, when he got the ball, and he was just anxious just to get it off, off and just hope that it goes behind, it hits the back of the net.
But I think that miss is a 3-point. And towards the end as well, Tsepo, you get Shaba getting the ball free on the right-hand side, in space, with time. He's got three players running into the box, waiting for the ball. It's 0-0 with a few minutes to go. And what does he do? He pulls it across straight to a Chippa player. Again, that's not something you can blame the coaches. These are two young quality players. I'm not getting onto them, Vilakazi and Shaba. You expect more from them. These young, talented players should be a bread and butter pass for somebody like Shaba. And that bread and butter pass would have been 3 points. Why? Is this a problem? Is this a bigger problem behind there, or is it just the players not concentrating?
No, in my opinion, I would say it was lack of concentration, and when you say the younger players, you'd wish Serino to be in that position. I'm not saying he was gonna make a good decision and it was gonna result in a goal, but in most cases, when you find the more experienced, senior guys, they tend to make the right decisions under pressure or in those positions, But I know time is ticking, but it's also a learning curve for the young boys. And sometimes, when the team, the confidence is not that high, you tend to find this bad, final bad decisions. Maybe the pressure also again.
Brian, I must admit, I don't agree with Tsepo here, because I think when you're on the pitch, whether you're 21 or 31, you're part of the 11, and a defender doesn't make allowances for you. The referee doesn't make allowances for you. And these players they've played national team at various levels. I think they've got to do better. And, you mentioned it last week. Is this not down to a lack of leadership? Because one thing I know, in the teams that you played in, Tsepo and Brian, there was no shortage of leadership on and off the field. And, concentration on the field comes from your teammates demanding that your concentration levels are high all the time. and you miss chances and make poor passes when your concentration level is low. And I'm pretty certain in your days, guys, from the back, Brian, you push that concentration to your centre backs and your fullbacks. They push that concentration level into the midfield. The midfield push that concentration level up front. It's a constant machine going on concentration, because that's what keeps the level up there. Is there a lack of leadership on and off the field in this Chiefs team? And is that one of the problems that they need to sort out for the second half of the season?
Yeah, for me, it's evident. And you can see even at the start of the game, one coach is the one who looks like he's more in charge. And then in the middle of the game, then it's another one. And so you, and like I said, it affects the players. For me, until the club, even between the two of them, just decide who's the head, then who's the assistant. Because for as long as you have this co-coaching thing, there's different messages going to the players, including that, like I said, when you understand leadership, you'll understand that players and people in general, whether doesn't matter what type of working environment, but will respond differently to a leader. And when you have now in an organization, you have two leaders and that have the same power, inverted commas, then you're bound to have problems, including, again, like I said, these youngsters, they're going to learn the hard way. It's a learning curve, but today, again, it's, I think, an opportunity missed, to close that gap and be right up there with Pirates.
Tsepo and Brian, again, I know I sound harsh, but we all come from old school, and I think we need to let the younger fans out there know there was never a learning curve for Tsepo Masilela and Brian Baloyi in a Kaizer Chiefs team. There was no learning curves. You got on there and you delivered, because if you didn't deliver, well, there's someone else waiting to deliver. But let's look at positives. I thought one of the positives there at Tsepo was Maboa. I think, when he gets 3, 4, 5 games under his belt, he's going to influence that team a lot. But you made a very good point that we spoke about during the game, is where is he playing and where's his best position going to be in that team? How's he going to influence that team?
I think if he can play more as an 8, I've seen him play that role at Maritzburg, when he had one of his best seasons, and he was also scoring goals. He can join the attack. He can break down defense with 1-2s. And I know him more as an 8, so I'm hoping, if he can get that role, because at the moment it looks like he's playing more as a 6 or 8, and again, you need to find the right balance in the midfield. When I saw the starting 11 and I saw the Novo playing as a 10, Novo's got this body language of a Sipambule, as more as a 10. So maybe they could have maybe swapped the roles or try Mabue more as a 10, closer to the goalpost. Scoring goalposts. So I don't know, but more as an 8. And again, that balance, man. Sometimes to get the best out of players, you need that proper balance in the midfield. Because we see a lot of chopping and changing with this Kaizer Chiefs team.
That's what I was going to go on to, Brian. Brian, just to take Tsepo's very good point about the balance in the midfield, because obviously balance throughout the team is critical, because if there's a balance not working in some place, it affects the rest of the balance. But 7 changes, 3 of them forced by injuries to Ox, Sereno, and Cross. But making 4 changes again, what is I'm trying to work out the thinking behind those changes, because they just look like, for me, they just look like changes for the sake of changes to bring other players on, because there was not really a change of tactics. So, but, is it change for change? What did you think there, Brian?
Yeah, I think for me, changes look a bit more unnecessary when you look at the results today. If you look at how we played, almost similar to Sunday, where doesn't look like there is a plan, and again now a lot of pressure on and work on the shoulders of the young players. I'll tell you, I know we keep referring to them as young, but the the beauty with when I was a youngster at Chiefs was that there was a lot of senior players. And I guess when Tsepo joined Chiefs, there was a lot of senior players, that have been with the club for a while, that understand the culture. Unfortunately, right now, there's no leadership. Like I said, there's no senior players. Not only seasoned senior players that are part of the club, but even the ones that the club brings in. There's a lot that needs to. There's still a lot of work to really get this machine going. And but like I said, the players, I believe we have the right players. It's just that we need to sort out the leadership issue in terms of the coaching.
So actually, Brian, I didn't think of that. You make an excellent point. If you look at the team, Peterson is not a Chiefs legend. He's still, he hasn't got, people have doubts about him. So as a player, he's done well, much better this season, but he's not someone who's been there 8 years, 6 years with games behind him that he can say, when I speak, you listen. Monyane's expired. Mako's expired. Miguel is going through a bad spell, and it could have cost him in the first half as well. And he's also new to Chiefs, new to this country as well. Quinica played for Chiefs, but came back from Stellenbosch. He's not a Chiefs legend. You look at the midfielder that played. Mabo is new. Ngobe hasn't played, and who was on the I forget who else was in midfield right now. Matlou.
I stand to be corrected, but looking at the players, maybe it's something we can do a research on quickly on how many players in the Chiefs team have played more than 100 games.
Yeah,
in the current squad.
None. And then there's no one on the Chiefs bench who has legendary status who can say, let me tell you, the only people who got legendary status is Kaizer there and people and the coaches in the youth. So I think viewers out there, Brian has brought up an excellent point that you've got to, that when he came in, there was leadership, people who the history of the club oozed out of their playing. And you got it at training sessions, you got it before the game, you got it after the game, you got it in the hotel, on the bus, you got it everywhere. Tsepo, you had the same. So that's definitely something there. I don't know how you get that right straight away, because you can't sign legendary Chiefs players today. They've got to develop them now because there's not ex-Chiefs players there. So I'm not the hell that's going to be sorted. Two quick questions. Ask you about Silva up front. Yes, this was his opportunity. He's had a good record as coming on the sub. What would you say about his performance today? Does he look like somebody that you're going to go, okay, this guy should get three more? I've got opinions as an ex-striker, but just quickly, Tsepo, your opinion on Silva, and is he the future? Is that traditional 9 jersey? Should that be his?
One thing I like about him it's his work ethic. He fights for the team. He chases, he fights for every ball. He puts defenders under pressure. But again, when the striker doesn't give you goals and the team is not winning, because sometimes you can do all that dirty job, or try create spaces for a teammate. But if we don't win, or if the other attackers are not getting goals, we look at the strikers. Where are the goals? But for now, I can still say a couple of more games. I think he still deserves another chance to prove himself. But I like the work ethic, man. And he's getting those half chances. Also aerial, first half he got that chance from a cross from Velabai. So it showed you that with clinical finishing, he could have maybe had 1 or 2 today.
I'm going to, before I ask Brian, the one thing I want to say, Tsepo, is that working hard and closing people down, that should be taken as a given. And as if you're a Chiefs player, at Chiefs, you've got to do more than work hard. Brian, quickly, is he your number 9, or is your jury still out on him?
I'll say when I look at both of them, him and Igodaro, I think they had what it takes to really to be the number 9. Either of them, when they're on the field, I think you get that balance. And he had a few, good touches, had a few missed opportunities. So I think, but for me, I think he's a much better player than when we first heard about him, when there was a whole lot of when we were in preseason. And it's clear that with the right players on the field, with the right supply, he can score those goals. But one thing again that really for me that I looked at that I didn't understand was when Mayo came on as well, was that I thought he was going to go up and now we're playing with two strikers, but he was more on the wing always. And so now you ask yourself, is he? Did you sign him as a winger? Is he a striker? So there's it leaves a lot to be desired with how when you look at how the players that came on and how they played, and you ask yourself, is it just throwing them in, go and play, or there was a plan? But if there was, it's not clear if what was the plan, more especially with the when we did the subs.
100%, Brian, because you spot on. Just to summarize the viewers out there, we want to hear what you think. If they played with two big strikers up front, that would have changed the whole complexion of how Chippa are going to have to start defending, and they would have had to think a lot more. But the way it happened, nothing really changed. So it's a very good point. Before I ask the last question I'll ask before we end, it's a question about Baloyi. I'm going to ask you first, Brian, because Tsepo, being a fullback, doesn't like wingers. So I think he may be a little bit unfair here. I want to ask you, Baloyi, on social media, the fans were very, very excited about the way he played. Quick comment: does he look like a future Chief star?
He has those glimpses of promises. I can't say he's really impressed me. I've seen better from him, from when he was like a 17-year-old, when he, and to where he is now. I'm expecting him to have improved a little bit more, to be a much better player than what we saw when he was, younger. So then again, maybe, give him that the benefit of a doubt that he's sat a long time, fighting through the courts, not playing, including that, he was playing in the first division, so yeah, but we know what he can do, but he hasn't done much as a Chiefs player as yet.
Then last one, again, with you, and then I'll ask Tsepo the same question. Matlou, the fans seem to give him a hard time. And we spoke off air. You reckon it's not about his ability, it's about social media?
Yeah, it's about social media. It's even today, before even the game, if you look on the social streets, more especially Pirates fans, they're giving him a hard time, including now they've given him a new nickname as well. They call him a video boy now. So he's gonna have to work hard, really, to clean his image on the field, and he brought it to himself. He brought it onto himself, and unfortunately, he's gonna be the one who has to work hard, to get back to just focusing on the field. Unfortunately, in his position, we have more than 5 players and again, with the chopping and changing, it doesn't look like he'll have an opportunity to really stamp his authority and really, play. We know right now is that a few injured players, when they're back, he's back at the back of the line again. Yeah.
Good. Last one, Tsepo. The Chiefs' next game on Sunday against Galaxy. Does he keep the same starting 11? Or should he make changes? Quick answer.
It's changes. For me, it's changes. I need a Shabalala back in the Mdu Shabalala in his number 10 position, and maybe a Chabo Trele if he's available.
I tend to agree with that. All right, guys, thanks very much. Top class. 1 point for Chiefs. Probably 2 points lost there. See you next week. Well, see you on Sunday. Cheers, guys.